uppercut, leave you laid out on the floor. Try to duck and roll, hit and miss, now you counting stars. Should've practiced more, should've hit the mask, get out there more. Claim that you're the best. You gotta show me, son. Actions over words, baby boy. Is you real or what? Talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports.
Shout out to the hottest chat in the MF and gang. Everybody know what's coming on. I just want to get on here and highlight some points. I'll probably be back on a little bit later. But shout out to the hottest chat in the MF and gang. A-Side official. No negotiation needed, period. You already know the first in the building. Jay on deck. Carlos on deck. Bud gonna stop Canelo on deck. I'm trying to rush through the intro. It doesn't matter how WCS is on fire today. Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it, Carlos. WCS, we in here, no doubt, for sure. You know how we do? It doesn't matter how any of this plays out, because Bud would be 3 times undisputed when it's all said and done. No doubt. I'm about to... What up, WCS? I expect Fundora to drop the belt like a coward, according to his promoter. So what we're going to do, I'm going to briefly take you through some of the audio that I was talking about when I was driving. You know what I'm saying? Um, it's very interesting audio from that of Simpson. I mean, you gotta ask yourself the sanity of it all. Like Jesus Christ, man. Come on, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? But I'm gonna share screen, right? Hold on. And we're gonna check out some of this audio that's just blasphemy. Blasphemy, y'all. Blasphemy. Okay? Bruce Gas Boxing Jazz, some more the OG in the building. I see you. What's good, man? They're gonna piss Bud off. It won't be good. Anyone at 154. Look, he probably already pissed off Carlos. You know what I'm saying? He's probably already pissed off. But let's listen to some of this audio. Okay? Let's listen to some of the audio. This is from the Boxing Voice, TBV. All right. Let's get down to it.
Bonjour, monsieur.
You woke
Vous
up
parlez
feeling good,
français?
huh? You woke up feeling good?
Hey, that it was a very special night, very emotional. So I try to recoup now.
Yeah, it's very emotional that you would go through a night like that to celebrate, and then feel like it's not within your power to understand that the sport goes on, and you understand that you have a demand that's out there, order that's been issued. You have an order that's out there that's been issued that you need to be addressing.
Give me a few words for the family. Obviously, the father should be considered for trainer of the year, right? I mean, he got his daughter a world title and now his son a unified champion. What do you think comes for the father from this situation? And I mean
I
Sebastian
believe,
Fundura's father.
yeah, Freddy Fundora, he really deserved to get crowned as the trainer of the year by far because it changed completely uh, the style of what is supposed to be always Fundora. Sebastian to take the distant job and he won the fight with no issue. Now, there's so many people that he have his own idea of the accidental elbow. But if you see the replay, he didn't move the elbow. Soon it came to the elbow.
We don't really care about the elbow. It happened. You know what I'm saying? There's been elbows thrown in boxing before. But I guess y'all have to explain yourself because of the cut that resulted from him hitting them freaking sawmill blades, them bamboo sticks.
With the head. So, but anyway, listen, it was a wonderful. The only thing, might as well, I can say something that I was very emotional in the press conference, and I say that the rematch it was verbal. Whoever I want to say this verbal, I will honor. So I forgot that word that I will honor the rematch with to sue because he deserved it. He's a warrior.
He said the rematch was verbal, y'all. Take a moment to ponder that. He's talking about the rematch was verbal. Have you ever heard? Yes, you have. Yes, you have. Don't let me ask you another rhetorical question. He said the rematch was verbal. Did y'all hear anything about a rematch before, y'all? Now all of a sudden he's coming to hear about a rematch that was verbal. Just to lock it in. Just because he don't want to face Crawford because they got that WBO, stepping on their neck. Because they know Crawford's waiting and they're gonna have to they have been ordered Fundora to negotiate with Crawford, not Spence. He's somebody who was verbal. Man, come on. These cats, man. Now we going off verbal now. Now verbal is supposed to be the end all be all. It's a verbal agreement for a rematch. Yes, I would like to. Since it was verbal, I would like. Man, get out of here, man. Get out of here.
We have some kind of misunderstanding before the fight, but I give him all the credit. He deserved it, and he deserved a rematch. So that is on the plate.
Now,
You heard him. Before it was Errol Spence, Crawford, Canelo. Now he's talking about a rematch that is in the play, and he's trying to make the fans believe that it's something that was spoken about before. It was a verbal agreement. Man, no, they want to see Fundora versus Crawford. That's what they want to see. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it, Samson. Forget that ghost verbal agreement y'all had just to try to sell that to the people. Man, stop it.
now, when you say that's in the plate, are you saying that you're changing the direction and it's no longer Earl Spence, or are you saying after Earl Spence, then you're gonna give Zoo the rematch?
Great question, Nas. Great question, man. Look, look. Didn't I tell you? Didn't I tell you that I didn't hear anything about no verbal agreement or no rematch? He was talking about Spence, Crawford, Canelo. Spence, Crawford, Canelo. Ness asked him, so now you changing directions? Because we didn't hear anything about no rematch prior to the fight. So he just want to make this up on the fly.
I believe in this particular point, after, that you relax, you think about it, I believe the best way will be the rematch. And because it's well deserved. Not only
He said after sitting there thinking about it, right? The best way is the rematch. But yet, prior to the fight, you was talking about Errol Spence, and you was trying to convince the people that everything would. I mean, look, man. Both of these trainers are talking about the same thing, bro. You know what I'm saying? Tim Zoo, people was talking about, fighting Errol, Fundora, because they think Errol's the more popular fighter. Both of them was talking about the same freaking crap. And now Fundora wins. They want to turn around. Samson want to turn around and say, well, let's do the rematch. Why were they boosting up Spence to get into the ring for the winner? Both of these fighters were projecting as if Errol Spence, either way it went, was going to be next in line. Both of them. That's what they was told. Both of them. And then all of a sudden, the fight goes and Fundora gets the win. Then Samson want to come up here and talk about what was verbal agreed and what would make sense. Now stand by. I'm gonna let this play out a little bit more now, so you can listen to the rhetoric that he was talking about.
only look, everybody won that night. Both fighters won the heart of the fans. We showed the courage of either one bleeding.
He said both fighters won the heart of the fans. So what did Spence and Crawford do? Because in this fight that we just seen, Tim Zoo lost, right? He wasn't stopped, but he lost, right? So what happened when Crawford and Spence fought? Did they win the heart? Did Crawford win the hearts of new fans? Did Spence win the heart or keep the hearts of fans, showing that he had the courage to keep on getting up? Both of them won the hearts of fans too. You know what I'm saying? I mean, just because you see blood, does that make any sense? Just because a fighter get cut and it turns into a bloodbath. Now all of a sudden they won over the hearts of the fans.
The TV, which is Prime Video, probably the best of the past decade, how competitive it was every fight and how full action was.
He said the past decade, y'all. He's trying to put this fight as as the best of the past decade.
So I believe the people deserve the rematch. However, I don't know if he need to go to surgery. Fundora for a nose, probably in this moment or in few hours, he be with the doctors to see that everything is fine. So most likely it will not be any fight for Sebastian till early November. So that is another question that you cannot put it immediately in 3 months or 4 months back in the gym, and not back in the gym, back in the fight, because Sebastian probably next week he start to move, but depending of the nose.
So where does that leave you with the WBO organization, who claims to have sent letters to both sides ordering Fundora and Crawford mandatory next? It is claimed you have 20 days to negotiate and 180 days to put on the fight.
We received the letter this morning. I wake up this morning and I have it. We try to save the bell. The person in charge, it will be Louis de Cuba Jr., who will negotiate with Crawford. This officially.
So Luke, as they call him, or Luke, whatever his name is, right? He's gonna be negotiating with Crawford. Now, pay attention to what he's about to say, because they're trying to put something into play to basically eliminate Crawford from being next up. You know, Crawford has never taken step aside money. He's boasted about that. You know what I'm saying? He's never stepped aside. He boasted about that. I don't have to come on here and say, well, Crawford's he's gonna sell out. I don't have no look. I don't have no thought process at all, even close, that he's gonna sell out at all. And this is the voice audio of the Boxing Voice. You know what I'm saying? Nestor Gibbs, shout out to TBV. This is their audio, and this is used for instructional purposes only. I have to put that out there.
Because I'm too emotional, and I will not be think about it, because I have in play my word that I say. It's no contract, signed contract, but for me, my word is much more than the signed contract, and will honor the rematch course.
All right, all right.
That's
Now,
great news. Great
do you foresee a situation where Louis de Cubas can negotiate something for Crawford to step aside and allow the rematch for both belts while simultaneously giving Crawford potentially a fight, or do you see Fundora having to vacate that belt?
Uh,
First of all, that was a good question. Ness always drilling it. He always got the Black and Decker out and holding that drill bit right up to their eyeballs. That's one thing I can say. That's a very good question to kind of see where he's at with trying to basically eliminate or remove Crawford from being in the running for that WBO title. So he's suggesting something that's very important that goes along with the sport of boxing. You know, great question.
again, I just wake up this morning, and it's I cannot make a decision. You need to marinate any decision that everybody be happy. But the most important was nobody lost that night, and I given the most respect to Zoo team. It was unbelievable. Uh, I guarantee you that another champion, not the everyone, he will give up in the second or third round and he say he cannot see.
Yeah, you want to big up how Zoo is not the only one to be in the bloodbath like that. There's been plenty of fights, if they're allowed to go on, that we've seen that's bloody. You want to hype this up only because of what again? I mean, that's not the best fight of the last decade, bro. There's been plenty other fights that was good without all the cuts and everything. That was intense, and they was very entertaining, high performance value fights. This is not, you're trying to sell this fight all because of blood. Boxing is not based off blood. Majority of the fights that take place in the ring, they don't. These fighters are not leaking that volume of blood. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Sebastian Fundora has a nose that love, leaking all the time. Okay, that's his nose. Tim Tszyu cracks and split his head open. Okay, but just because it was blood everywhere, and Tim Tszyu was trying to fight for his life just because he was visually impaired, doesn't make it a fight of the night. You acting like that cut came from a freaking punch. That cut didn't come from a punch, man. He's trying his best to sell that, oh, I'll take the rematch. I'll take the rematch. Listen, if this shit flies, I'm telling you, if this shit flies right here, it's going to make boxing look even crazy. The system of boxing is already flawed, but it's just going to make it look that much incompetent if any of what he's saying flies. Talking about a rematch. Okay, vacate that WBO and talk about the rematch all you want, because the one that's going to be left sitting is Errol Spence, okay? You're trying your best to have Crawford sitting, pretty much. Y'all know he's getting older, and he's going to be a threat at 154. So once again, they trying their best to add on some weeks and months, and Crawford to be 37 years old, just so, they can figure out what they're trying to do. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not talking for Team Crawford at all. But I'm just going to put it out there. I don't believe as a man, as a fighter, from what I've heard him say in the past, how he's carried himself, I don't believe he'll sell out and take step-aside money to appease these people.
I saw many champions do that, and it be no contest. This guy, he continued till the end, to the last second, tried to win that fight. And he never said that it was a robbery or he won the fight. He said, congratulations to the champ. Only that, he pushed me to say that he deserved the rematch. Besides that, my word, my honor.
You have Jennings up here talking about Errol, Crawford, Canelo, and you pretty much have Sampson pretty much saying the same thing. They're not mentioning Crawford first. You know what I'm saying? They're not mentioning Crawford first. They're mentioning Errol. All of them speaking the same freaking language. Sampson and Jennings speaking the same freaking language, man. The same freaking language. Crawford ain't first in any one of them. Their language. Crawford's not first. And if you look at both of their language, you hear both of their language. Obviously, they've been communicating. They're saying the same thing. Oh, Crawford don't sell to this. Crawford's not as popular as this. They saying the same thing, man. What do you think happened between Crawford and Spence? Spence was bloodied. He just didn't make it to the final bell. Crawford was not bloody. Is that less of winning over the fans? No, that's not. He fought smart. He was a smarter fighter in there.
So you're targeting November for that. Now, in your, I guess, excitement.
Did you hear that? I don't want that to slide by now. Crawford turns 37 in September. Supposedly, Sebastian Fundora, the bamboo stick, he has to get surgery on his nose. Okay? He has to get surgery on his nose, y'all. Pay attention. They're talking about November, y'all. November. They want to put Crawford on a time clock, a stopwatch. They want to put Crawford on a stopwatch. So let's do this. April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November. I hope all of you that's sitting up here putting Crawford on a timepiece from him fighting July 29th, I hope you put Fundora on that too. They're going to come over here and talk about, well, you heard him, Fundora, he has a no. No, look, 8 months now. 8 months, he want to tie up the belts. 8 months. He become unified champion, and he want Crawford to wait until November to fight. They don't want to come off the belts. So the good thing about this is that the WBO has ordered, and I have faith that this WBO title for 154 will be vacated. I don't have any type of indication. I mean, it doesn't even touch me as just saying, okay, Crawford may entertain the step aside money. No, man. These people don't care about what he does in boxing. Look, he's talking about Louis. Look, this is how I'm gonna break this shit down with this. Louis is gonna be negotiating with Crawford. First of all, Team Fundora is not in charge. Team Fundora is not in charge. Period. Either they fight Crawford, or this is going to end up going into a purse bid or whatever. They're going to have to negotiate percentages. So if they straight up don't want to fight Crawford, they're going to have to come off the belt. I'm pretty sure Team Crawford is listening to what Sampson had to say. So he said Louis was the one that was in charge of negotiating for Team Fundora. He's not in charge of Crawford. So you have to understand, with Crawford hearing what he's hearing coming out of Sampson's mouth, talking about he has the same as Devin Haney. He's not a ticket seller. He can't sell out this and that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the criticism that he was continuing to give Crawford, saying he was looking for a payday. You think Crawford's gonna show love? Man, Bud is a different type of beast, man. You know what I'm saying? You think he's gonna show love to somebody that said he's just looking for a payday? Please, good luck with that negotiation.
Man, you said, and I'm paraphrasing here, not quoting you directly, but you said, Crawford has to wait. David Benavidez is waiting. Crawford can wait like he made others wait. Are you speaking of Jaron Ennis?
Once again, great question by Ness. Ness is dialed in. He has the coordinates. And he's hitting center mass on these counter questions. He's in center mass. You said like he made others. Others are plural. Sean Porter, David Avanesian, Errol Spence Jr., Sean Porter, Avanesian, Spence Jr. So you trying to tell me from the time that Crawford fought even Kell Brook, y'all. Let's go back to Kell Brook. Brook, Porter, Avanesian, Spence. 4 fights. 4 fights now. Are you trying to tell me, with this man being locked in a contract, that he's going to come out of his mouth and say it like he made others wait? Let's see what he's going to say on this. Because Ness hit it home. He hit a home run with that.
I would say that the most honorable for Crawford is to fight Ennis. That is the truth.
That's not the truth. Because think about this, Sampson, right? I know you probably listen to, they send you these links. Hear me out, Sampson. All of criticism that you have rendered against Crawford, he looking for a payday, he don't sell, he has the same type style as Devin Haney, just to name a few, right? So now you want him to fight Jaron Ennis? What value, if you feel like Crawford from what he's accomplished in boxing, what value do Jaron Ennis bring to Crawford for him to fight just because he submitted for a belt via administrative logistics and he was able to receive a reply in his inbox, and his resume doesn't add up? It doesn't meet the standards, the qualifications. So for you to say, well, in his division, he should just fight Jaron Ennis. Man, Crawford is going to rip y'all apart in these negotiations. Watch what I tell you, y'all. Watch what I tell you. Watch what I tell you.
You know what I mean? And he have no problem with the weight, but he's looking for money. He want to fight Canelo for money, a payday, and that, you know, I don't know if he will get a payday with Fundora, because my understanding he want to be like, and this I caught, but I don't know if it's true or not, but like he be a co-promoter because he's a free agent, and that it will not happen.
See, people like Samson, you have to really think hard on when they say that will not happen. That will not happen. That's them trying to pretend that like they're in control of everything. They're trying to say, "Oh, well, Crawford, he's a free agent. He's gonna be a co-promoter." That won't happen. We won't do that. We won't do this. Well, guess what? One thing you don't have control over is a sanctioned body. I'm gonna go out on a freaking branch here and say that you don't have no type of control over the WBO. Period. So for you to say it won't happen, all it is that you're utilizing that as a deterrent for others to look at it and attempt to try to persuade them that you're making sense. You're not making any sense. You all up here complaining about percentages that Crawford want, but yet and still you're talking about he's just looking for a payday when you're complaining about percentages and saying that Fundora is the A side. Why is Fundora the A side? Because he just won the unified titles, and you believe that he's more valuable now. There, Samson, you believe he's more valuable, right? So you sitting up here talking about this man freaking looking for a payday like boxers supposed to fight for minimum wage, bro. Like he's supposed to fight for freaking minimum wage.
It will not happen that way. But because I'm an emotional person, we make a team the decision that Louis de Cuba, he will try to negotiate not to lose the.
Yeah, I like how you phrase that. Try. Good luck with that. Try may consist of 3 letters. But this is going to be phonetic mayhem for you. It don't matter who you have. You're talking to a person who fought a fighter who said he was going to break him like Kunta. You're coming over here saying he has the same boring style in so many words than Devin Haney. He's looking for a payday. He can't sell out. So you're going to put, Louis de Cuba, he's the one that's going to be negotiating. He's going to be negotiating. He's going to be a hard negotiator. You can be a hard negotiator all you want. You ain't dealing with a bunch of rookies, bro. They wouldn't have made it this far in boxing if they didn't know what was going on. They didn't know how to handle business. You can say what you want. Tell me he's gonna try. You damn right he's gonna try. You damn right he's gonna try.
Title, and I didn't ask him how he would negotiate, but he will negotiate directly with Paco Balcazar, the president of the WBO, and Crawford. So I'm be out completely of the situation. However,
he just said, you heard what he said? He said he's out of the situation of how he was going to negotiate. He's out of the situation. Okay? So he's saying he's emotional. So they're going to get Louis de Cuba to try and negotiate with Team Crawford. And one thing y'all should understand about Team Crawford, they're not a run-of-the-mill, okey doke. You're walking around the neighborhood, looking at the ground, kicking empty cans around, trying to figure out what they want to do with themselves. They've been around the block a time or two in this boxing game, and they had to make the appointment at the negotiation table to try to figure this out. Just like he left the first negotiation, came back, and him and Spence made it work. Well, once again, when these promoters like Samson go around here and talk reckless, loosely, you know what I'm saying? They talk with a lot of belligerency. They criticize the hell up out of their target. They say Crawford ain't did nothing. He just want to pay that. That's disrespectful. Of course, a boxer want to pay that. That's exactly why you all are trying to basically put Sebastian Fundora in the auction. You're trying to get the highest payday for him because when he get paid, others get paid. So why would you try to cut that short for Terrence Crawford? That doesn't make any sense. It never will. It's not supposed to.
Regardless, my wish And my honor is to the rematch because I believe that the people it will request that. The fans it will request a rematch because many people say if it was not for the cut, it will lose the fight Fundora, which I don't believe that.
Who cares, man? If it wasn't for the cut, you up there talking about what the people want. The people want. That's one thing about you can't speak for the people. There's no way you can provide an overall consensus for the people. That's just point blank, period. Just like that. It sounds good when you're having a dialogue talking about, oh, the people want it. The people, the people. Who is the people? You don't know who Fundora's 10 or 11 fans are. Yeah, they might feel some type of way about his sister Gabrielle winning the title. Kudos to them. I'm not hating on them at all. But you don't know what his fan base is. When have he ever headlined the card outside of the Tim Zoo that really did 800 to a million? When has he really put the numbers down and showed that he's a superstar? Now you coming in here talking about what the fans want. You're going to try to honor this and that and the other. It don't matter who negotiate, man. I have total confidence that Team Crawford knows where they're trying to go. They know what the mission is once again, and they're going to go about it as tactically as possible.
Because when you bleeding, like like the same way like he was bleeding Fundora, it gave him more courage to continue and try to win the fight. It's not a handicap. He want to win the fight, and that is, listen, I believe it's the best card for the past 10 years.
He said he believed Rolly Romero. Listen to this, y'all. I'm not trying to get y'all on medication in the first semester of 2024 listening to this. For real. I'm not trying to have you on meds, bro. He said he believed this was the best card in the last 10 years, and Rolly Romero was the co-main event. Did y'all was I clear on what just he said the last 10 years, y'all? With Rolly Romero and how Rolly picked up the belt and how he was recognized as a champion that received the gift. Going in there, look, check that out. Going in there against a lightweight fighter making his 140-pound debut against a fighter who was gifted a title. And he said this is one of the best cards of the last 10 years.
More.
Like for PBC, right? Not in all of boxing, right?
Look at Danny. Look at Danny. Danny came back with the axe. Danny up there axe throwing. He said with the PBC, not all the boxing, right? Great question, man. God, somebody tell them to put the weapons away. Put the weapons away, man. Ness up here shooting with a goddamn shotgun, and Danny up there axe throwing, man. Come on, bro. Good question.
Well, tell me another show or another event that he was so excited like this one. Give me one.
I mean, Wilder Fury, I felt was more exciting.
Yeah, but I think he's
Who?
talking top to bottom, right? You talking card top to
Yeah,
bottom, or you
sure.
saying main event only?
No, the whole event.
On the Wilder
Even
Fury,
the
you
under.
had
Let's hold up for a second. Let me take a little bit of time, right? Okay. Let me take a little bit of time. And let me take y'all through a little short. Let's frolic a little bit to Box Rec, okay? Okay. He said the best card in the last 10 years. Okay? Neves versus Walker. Debut fight. Valoria versus Benitez. Gallegos. Eric Howard. Carmel Moulton, Anthony Cuba, Coelho against Sagawa, Julio Martinez, Angelo Cordova, Rolando Romero, Isak Cruz, Erislandy Lara, Michael Zarafa, Brian Mendoza, Bahachik, and Tim Tszyu and Sebastian Fundora. He said in the last 10 years, that's the card that trumps them all.
You had a unified champion on the undercard in Jarrett Hurd. The first one.
No.
I mean,
We're not talking. Excuse me. We're not talking about titles now. We're talking about the excitement of the whole event from the first fight to the last fight. Everyone, it was competitive, knockout. It was excitement on that show.
Speaking of
it was excitement, y'all. We're not talking about championships. Don't you dare talk about championships, because that'll bleed over to the ones they just picked up. And it's funny how when we talk about championships, how Fundora had the interim title, and how Fundora was also stopped by a fighter that was on the undercard. You feel me? Like that's super weird, ain't it? That's super weird how that played out. Brian Mendoza, who stopped Sebastian Fundora, was on the undercard just because he lost to Tim Tszyu. Let that marinate, please, with like hot butter on a freaking buffet of crab legs, all you can eat. Let that hot grease melt in your spirit. Brian Mendoza, who stopped Sebastian Fundora, was on the undercard all because he lost to Tim Tszyu. But Sebastian Fundora beats Tim Tszyu, and they're not even trying to give Brian Mendoza a rematch. He never lost to Sebastian Fundora. He lost to Tim Tszyu. Anyway, I'm not trying to freaking put on my glasses and the coat and sound like, I'm trying to give a class from the lab, but sometimes this stuff is just too easy.
Excitement. In that excitement, you said Crawford can't do 90,000. Now, obviously, you said you were excited. You've relaxed, and Louis will negotiate with Crawford. Do you see a world where Fundora could fight Crawford in Nebraska and they can do 90,000 over there? Because Danny, if you can help me with this hypothetical based on the Nebraska volleyball women's game.
I honestly, I believe that the style of Crawford is not likable. Like,
you see what I'm talking about? Hating ass niggas, man. Crawford won one of the biggest fights in the past 10 years. If you want to talk about decades, Samson. And you come up here talking about Crawford's style isn't likable, but he's dangerous. And fighters aren't trying to fight him. You know what I'm saying? So you was the one just said, we're not talking about championships. We're talking about what? Every fight being competitive. So therefore, Samson, just to correct you, last year, Crawford and Spence was in a very competitive build-up and a very likable fight. It just turned out to be one-sided because of how great Crawford truly is. But you're going to say his style is not likable. Like you haven't seen the Ricardo Mayorgas win championships. Like you haven't seen boxers come in here with different awkward, unorthodox styles and be pretty successful at it. You talking about his style isn't likable? You a hater. You a straight up hater. This man fought Kell Brook, Porter Avanesian, and beat Spence. And you talking about his style ain't likable? He stopped Porter for the first time in Porter's career. He stopped Kell Brook in shorter distance than anyone. He knocked Avanesian Cole out. So you're talking about Sean Porter being a stoppage, Kell Brook being a stoppage? Don't let me remind you, Samson, of information that's already out there accessible to you now. Avanesian a stoppage and freaking Errol Spence. Stop with the bullshit, bro. Stop up here capping. You're doing more than that. What the hell you talking about? His style ain't likable. That's why Ness put his head down. Cause you're absolutely lying, man. You're trying to come off as being a genuine dude because you got an accent and you're trying to sound like you speaking the truth. This man has stopped everybody in the welterweight division. And you up here talking about his style isn't likable. His style.
Like Henny, is about the same level. And he went
Did you hear that? I gotta rewind that.
not so.
Whoa, wait. On an 11-fight knockout streak.
Steve, knockout, it was excitement on that show.
It was excitement, y'all. What do you think, Samson, that Crawford and Spence was? It was excitement. It was excitement. So you go from excitement to saying the man don't have a likable style. But yet you don't want to talk about championships being included on how great the card was. So you want to extract championships and then go straight for entertainment value, right? Everybody would tell you that they still look at this fight to this day and say to themselves, that was an entertaining fight, Samson. You a hater.
Speaking of the excitement, in that excitement, you said Crawford can't do 90,000. Now, obviously, you said you were excited. You've relaxed, and Louis will negotiate with Crawford. Do you see a world where Fundora could fight Crawford in Nebraska and they can do 90,000 over there? Because Danny, if you can help me with this hype.
And let me walk you back into this, right? Ness asked another great question about him fighting in Omaha. Right? Omaha, you know very, very well that Crawford will pack the house fighting a fighter like Fundora. You know very, very well that he will pack the house out because he's did it before. We're talking about Omaha, Nebraska, where this cat is a legend. He is a legend in Omaha. And Samson's up here, the first thing out of his mouth is what you're going to hear.
Hypothetical based on the Nebraska volleyball women's game?
I honestly believe that the style of Crawford is not likable like Henny. It's about the same level. And
look at the facial expressions. Let me screenshot this for you. Okay, that's what I do. Let me screenshot this for you. He said the style of Crawford is not likable. And he compared it to Haney. He's compared it to Haney. So look. Let me post this up here right quick, because obviously crack is for real. For real, crack is for real. Let me put this up here for you, so you can see the expressions. All right. He said Crawford's style is not likable. He compared it to that of Haney. Look at that. Look at those expressions. Ness just raised his head up. Danny's looking at the screen like, somebody get some Narcan. Hurry up. Somebody send him some Narcan. Come on, man. Stop the cap.
he will not sell.
Whoa, wait, Samson. He just got 3 knockdowns and a knockout in his last fight, and he's on an 11-fight knockout streak.
No, I understand. But it's not, doesn't attract. It's number one in the world, the best fighter in the world, but doesn't have the charisma to bring people in Vegas or to bring people,
Or you mean outside of the
town.
ring?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay.
And I don't believe he will. And besides, in every fight, he demands something as a free agent. He demands money that doesn't exist.
So Sampson said that he's number one in the world. He acknowledged that Crawford is number one in the world. In order for you to get number one, you had to have a style that was extremely productive and effective in getting the results that's saying you actually absolutely achieve victory, right or wrong. So being that we all are scholars in the hottest chat in the MF game, somebody please explain to me how Sampson say that Crawford is the number one in boxing, but yet say he don't sell, and he tried to say he don't sell outside of Vegas. No, that can't be true. You know what I'm saying? Because he's packed the house out in Omaha. He's packed the house out in Omaha. He refused to have the first fight in Texas because he didn't want to get robbed. He wanted to go to some type of neutrality, when it comes down to, Vegas, okay? He wanted to go over there where it'd be considerably neutral grounds. And that's what happened. And we seen how it played out in there. You know what I'm saying? We seen how the damage was inflicted. We seen the fight plan that Crawford executed. But Sampson's up here telling people that he don't have a style that's likable. Why would that even be a conversation if you're talking about performance? Ness told you he has 11 fight knockout streak. Did he not tell you that? Did you not already know that, bro? He had 3 knockdowns his last fight and a 9th round stoppage. He has 11 knockouts. And you're talking about, we can just name his last 4 fights of notability. And you're not even giving this man no credit? You say he don't have a likable style? Who is up here bragging about Fundora's style? He's getting his nose broken and he got to have surgery. When have Crawford been out of the sport just lingering around like that for medical stuff? The man is not only living a lifestyle, a boxer's lifestyle, a fighter's lifestyle, but his fighting style in general is keeping him healthy enough to be able to go back in the ring and optimize who he is as a fighter. Sampson's sitting up here, listening to other people and using his own psychological biases, try to prove to people that Crawford don't have a style that's entertaining, but he's stopping his opponent. Elite fighters, Sampson. He's stopping his opponents, bro. And you acting like that means nothing. Who is bragging about Bamboo Stick? Who's bragging about Sebastian Bamboo Fundora? Who? Just because he can cut his toenails standing straight up doesn't mean anything. This man is coming off a knockout, and you have the gall to talk about styles. Man, get out of here, bro.
And how do you know that he demands this money? Because I interviewed Glenn Jennings, the manager of Tim Tszyu, and he also said that in my interview that he heard Crawford wanted $15 million, and that's something he said he heard. But where are we hearing this from, and how true is it?
Once again, stupendous question. Where are the sources? Who are you hearing this from? And if I'm correct, $15 million would be less than what Crawford received for Spence last fight, right? So, Sampson, you say he's just looking for a payday? He's just looking for a payday, right? Did he get maximum $15 million for Spence fight, or lower than that? $15 million or lower? Which one is it? And then let me hit the play button again so he can explain where this information came from.
Because you just said it's correct.
I just say to you that this is what I heard. And beside that,
I just say to you, this what I heard. He heard it. So now we're going off hearsay. But we're putting it off as if it's FACT ZZ. We're faxing up here. We're dropping the facts. That's what he heard, y'all.
In prior negotiation, he want to be like he want to be a Canelo, put it that way. He want to be a businessman, and he want to be a fighter.
See, this is what I hate, right? Especially as a black man. And I'm just gonna jump off just for a little bit. I'm gonna play a little bit of hopscotch, y'all. When I was coming up, I remember when I started to, be a little bit infatuated with a broader vocabulary, right? And anybody who knows me will tell you I don't speak in this manner when we having general conversation outside of this, right? I can turn it on and turn it off. But I remember people telling me, you're trying to sound white. Now, I was speaking the same way I was now, right? But they'll say, you're trying to be white, your last name white. I even got criticism from my own family. Tomorrow, nobody knows what that is. Why don't you speak normal? I'm speaking English from those words that are located and accessible in books, literature, that we can acquire and crack it open and say, okay, let me learn that. Anyway, Samson, is said that Omaha Crawford, who was born before Canelo, once again, I repeat, we can't sit up here and change unless you're Cuban. Anyway, you can't sit up here and change your age like that for real. You know what I'm saying? You can't sit up here and make it a reality and say, you know what? I'm 70, I want to be 33. So Samson is saying that Crawford is trying to be Canelo. But if Crawford is trying to be Canelo, then who approved Canelo to be the person that he is in conducting business and boxing too? You can't give an example and then crap on the person that's trying to follow the example, Samson.
And that is a big mistake.
I mean, but wasn't Floyd Mayweather a businessman and a fighter? I mean, I remember for the Pacquiao fight, he negotiated concessions, in the arena.
Wow.
No one was more business than Floyd and fighter.
Yeah, but you cannot compare Mayweather with anybody else.
See, and that's another thing. We can't compare Mayweather to anyone else, but at least Mayweather, he attempted and learned enough to be able to be used as an example. Now, everybody pretty much attaches Canelo to the past with that umbilical cord that was extended to him when he fought Floyd Money Mayweather. And he's doing, or he tried to have did the same thing Floyd was doing. So therefore, when it comes to Crawford, being that he's not as likable, he's not as flashy, he's not as a person that has the charisma, the machismo, the bravado that everybody wants to link up to. Now all of a sudden it's wrong. It's wrong for him to go out here and say, okay, I want to advocate for more money. I want to leverage my worth as a fighter to make more money. I want to live the fighter's lifestyle and go out here and compete and continue to put away these performances and stop and be devastating. You know what I'm saying? To get straight to the point. To be a complete overall fighter where they consider me one of the greatest. So you consider yourself one of the greatest and you getting the results, of course you're going to negotiate more. That's the way it's supposed to be in life. If you're in a regular corporate job and you've been there and you've been doing, you might go up there and request a raise. But to say that he's trying to be like Canelo, this man is extremely prejudiced when it comes to acknowledging any good that Crawford has done. His style sucks. His mentality to be a greater businessman in boxing sucks to Samson. Everything sucks to this guy when it comes to Crawford. He don't like him. He don't like him, bro.
So
The only
that is
one
true,
that he tried to
Samson.
be a Mayweather is Canelo. Canelo want to be Mayweather and negotiate like Mayweather. This is Mayweather was and he is the most smart, clever businessman that I ever saw in my life, beside everyone else. Like Canelo is very good in other business. I wish Mayweather be in other business the same like Canelo. But in boxing, the smart one is Mayweather, by far.
But
And
so
Canelo, he want to be his blueprint. That's all.
There's no blueprint to any of this when it comes to a fighter, because Canelo's personality doesn't mirror up to that of Money Mayweather. pretty boy Mayweather. Canelo doesn't measure up to how much of a bright, live, vivid personality that Floyd Mayweather put out to the people. Canelo don't even come close to that. Canelo has his own persona, man, the way he acts. He's very cool, calm, collected. He act like he knows where he's at. He doesn't have to go out here and be all flamboyant. Even though he's been acting like a diva lately, he doesn't have to give you all the upbeat, I want to show out. You know what I'm saying? I want to use all this unnecessary energy. I want to put on an act for y'all. He don't go out here and clown for anybody. He don't. He has his own dynamic, bro. But who's to say Crawford, who's at the end of his career, he's absolutely doing something wrong by negotiating his worth at 36 years old? Where's this guy coming from with this? Why are they trying to then stick a stake in his heart, man? Acting like everybody else can do it but Crawford. I don't get it, man.
And now this Crawford you want to be. But Crawford doesn't have the charisma and the following like Canelo or Mayweather.
So were you just like exaggerating on the 90,000? Because in 3 events that Errol's done at Cowboy Stadium, he only has averaged 34,000 and some change across those 3 events.
That is. Danny up there swinging axes. You know what I'm saying? And certain the tip of freaking swords straight through the trachea of Samson. He said Errol Spence averaged 30,000, a little over 30,000. But yet this guy's up here talking about the fans want to see 90,000. That reminds me of Eddie Hearns talking about Anthony Joshua selling out Wembley all the time. You know what I'm saying? It sounds good to the people, but it's up to the people to fact check it.
So I just like nobody's came close to doing 90,000. Why do you think this is the fight?
Because after the performance of Fundora, I believe that it will help to sell completely that stadium. And by the way, the undercard, it will be crazy too, because we have several locals fighters that it will sell. And only the expectation to have that kind of 6 foot 6 and 6 foot 6 or 6 foot 5.5. This is a commodity, that.
What? Excuse me? You say 6'5", 6'6", Sebastian Fundora is a commodity? No, he's just tall. You can get bamboo from anywhere. It's just tall. I done seen people kick bamboo until it crumbles. You're talking about Fundora. Once again, Samson, you're still dreaming right now. You had such a high for him winning those titles the way he did. You're looking at the blood. It's not going to be that same sequence of events that plays out in the rematch. It's not going to happen. You're up here talking about he's a commodity. He just got off the canvas, damn near on a stretcher, bro. What in the heck are you smoking? He just got off the canvas. You talking about he's a commodity. Could you imagine? Hey, people in the chat, the hottest in the game. Could you imagine if Crawford was knocked out just like Fundora in his last fight before he got the Tim Tszyu fight? Could you imagine Crawford being stopped like that anytime during his career? From Yorkis Gamboa to anybody who they say hurt Crawford. Could you imagine him being hurt? He just up here talking as if Fundora didn't get stopped. But yet, you're thinking just because he was in a bloodbath of a fight with Tim Tszyu that you're going to downplay and shit on everything that Crawford did, and he hasn't been in that situation, bro. He's never placed himself. He's swimming without getting wet. You know what I'm saying? So you don't respect that. You want to go over here and hope it's a bloodbath so you can say the fans loved it. The fans will tune in to anything that's different than the normal. You know what I'm saying? The fans will tune in to a boxing match just because. But if you make it all bloody the way it is. Yeah, people gonna tune. People gonna start commenting and have sidebar conversations. Say, "Oh man, that was bloody." Say, "Oh man," but the cut did not happen from a punch, man. It didn't happen from a punch. It happened from a elbow, which you're trying to explain that it wasn't purposely, you know, delegated.
That he will sell because the way he is, the way he fight.
Well, Samson, I am going to make a case for something you said in the previous interview about having to take care of the finances for your fighter. And I believe that you're right, specifically in this situation. So I hope that it works out the way you originally said. Only for Fundora, who we see is a very humble guy. He's not a flashy guy. He doesn't, I mean, he definitely doesn't spend money, but we're not sure that he's made the money in his career that he deserves, especially becoming a unified champion without defending it. He probably hasn't gotten the opportunity to make a decent amount where, you know, it's generational wealth. So I can see you trying to get him a big payday.
Look at Ness again. God dang, Ness just pulling the pins and just juggling grenades into the freaking pit. Samson's standing right in the middle of the pit, and freaking Ness is just throwing grenades in there. There's no need to send a recovery team. Did you hear what he just said? It made all the sense in the world. You're trying to get him a payday. No shit. What is this motherfucker talking about? Crawford trying to get a payday. Ness just said that you're trying to get him a payday because he haven't really got paid any big money. Also, Sebastian don't have no freaking personality, bro. But yet you're talking about Crawford doesn't have a likable style. Well, what type of style does Fundora have that got him knocked out? Please, I'll wait.
I believe that fighting in this moment, after 48 hours, I believe it will make exactly the same or more on the rematch that is to fight Spencer. How about that? So either one, but he will not make the same money with Crawford. That means my personal opinion.
Hold on.
That is the reason.
Wait, but didn't he take a pay cut?
No, wait, Ness. Yeah, Tim literally took a pay cut to fight Fundora. They did 14,000 fans. You're telling us that Fundora and Spence will do 90,000 because of but now it's gonna make the same money that the rematch will?
No, that it will make the same money fighting Spence with the
Tim Zoo rematch.
Zoo. Right? Yeah, no, I mean Zoo. Now, if he fight Zoo or he fight Crawford, it be equal money now in this moment, because I believe that people it will push to make this happen. The rematch.
You think people want the rematch with Tim Zoo over the Fundora Crawford fight?
Definitely twice.
Definitely twice. And that's more than twice as stupid. Just hearing that's twice as stupid. You're trying to tell me they want the Fundora Zoo fight when Zoo couldn't even make changes. You know what I'm saying? He just was lost in the sauce for a minute, and he couldn't make any changes to basically try to close down the fight. But I ain't gonna say he didn't do what he's supposed to do. He fought, but he's trying to downplay Crawford so bad, man. But yet Fundora don't have a personality, and no one's really up here admiring his fighting style except the way he fought Zoo. Before that, he was basically giving away his advantages of a 6'6" striker, and he was wanting to fight on the inside and do stuff for shorter fighter. He would lower himself to the standards of his opponent. But at least he stayed behind consistently on the jab. So you trying to tell me one fight, that's all it take for everything to be erased from his past, just like this Men in Black? They put the red light in front of Fundora's career? Like he just didn't get stopped by Mendoza and then get gifted? He get a gift to come back and fight for a championship, and you're acting like this dude has a personality that trumps Crawford. This dude has a fighting style that supersedes Crawford. That's what you're saying? Is that what you're saying to validate the reason why you want him to stay away from Crawford and fight a rematch with Zoo or fight Spence? Spence, he'll be a fool not to look at this and say that people look at him as being food. They look at Spence as being an hors d'oeuvre. You're talking about Jennings and Sampson both mentioned Spence. And it's because they consider him as food because Crawford was the one who cooked him, filleted him, and served him up to the public. Big fish style. You know what I'm saying? The best fish fry ever in the last 10 years, Sampson. You should have been there.
I don't know. I think you guys are underestimating the fandom of Crawford. There were a lot of people upset that Crawford could potentially be skipped after petitioning for his mandatory status by Earl Spence. A lot of people were not happy that Earl was in the ring, saying that he would chop Fundora down when he did not do that to Crawford. So for some of us, we believe selling us Earl could be difficult because we don't know that he can do it since he didn't do it versus the welterweight in Crawford.
Let me put it this way. I guarantee you, this is the reason I walk away from the negotiation. Crawford, you will want to make more money than the champion, and that it will not happen.
See, here we go again with Sampson saying what's not going to happen. Why are you trying to make an example? If Fundora had an opportunity to fight Canelo, this language won't even be in play right now, people. I guarantee you that. He won't be using this play. Oh, no, Canelo, it's not happening. No, Canelo, it's not happening. But with Crawford, he's busy trying to reduce his stature in the sport. Everything is, that's not happening. That's not happening. That won't happen. That won't happen. That's what he's doing. He won't use that same energy with Canelo. If Canelo said, I want to fight Sebastian Fundora. I like the way he look against Zoo. Maybe we can set that fight up. Oh, man. What? Oh, that can happen. That can happen. I want more than 50% to be the A side. That is okay. That is okay. Come on, man. You're trying to say Crawford wants more money than the champion, like he hasn't did anything, and they're going to touch on it too. But Crawford has way more accolades than Sebastian Fundora may ever achieve in his entire career. And this man is up here talking about, and that won't happen.
And that is a fact. That is the reason I walk away.
Now hold on a minute. Hold on a minute, Danny, because this is a very similar situation to Shakur Stevens, who was a multiple division champion, trying to challenge Devin. And granted, Devin was an undisputed champion, but he was still in that one division. So are you not valuing what Crawford has done before this fight? Meaning he is a two-time undisputed. He is a multiple-time lineal. Does that not make you the A side?
No, we are the A side because we are the champion. You want to have the super welterweight championship fight. So we have a champion, and the champion has the rights. And he believe, I'm pretty sure of that, and I spoke with
He said the champion has the rights. Are y'all listening to this dude? He said a champion has the rights. Last time I checked, Sampson, Crawford was still unified champion at 147, which you recommended he fight Boots Ennis, right? He's a champion. So you're trying to say you can be an active champion, multi-division, but an active, reigning, defending, unified champion, 2 times undisputed, at a division lower, and you're trying to tell me that won't happen. He's demanding more money. That won't happen. This dude is acutely delusional. There's no way in hell that you're thinking about what you're saying before you say it. This man is current a unified welterweight world champion, and you're acting like he don't have any negotiation rights when it comes to Sebastian Fundora, and you're trying to say just because Errol Spence took 50-50, Crawford's supposed to, and he even achieved more than Errol Spence and beat him in the ring? You're not even being fair, bro. You are not being fair at all.
with Paco included, that he will want to make more money than the champion. He'd be the challenger making more than the champion.
Now, what is
And
the
he would
split
not
That's
though?
happen.
happened, but Paco, Samson, that's happened in the past, where the challenger, I'm gonna give you the Shakur Stevenson, Jamel Herring example. Shakur was a champion at 26 for the WBO, used this status the same way Terrence Crawford is, got the fight with Jamel Herring, and then went to the WBO and showed him, look at my last three gates, look at my last three purses. He's the champion, but he ain't fucking with me. Can't Bud do the same thing? Because nobody truly believes that Fundora is a bigger draw.
Ooh, good Lord. Somebody call the fire department and tell them to hose Danny off. The man is smoking up the place for real. Nobody's believing Fundora is the biggest draw. Talk to him, D Money. He said nobody is believing Fundora is the biggest draw. Come on, man. Somebody get somebody got there and call the fire department. It's an arsonist in the building.
Put it that way. We, that particular fight, it was no choice for the champion. We have choice. That is the difference. We have
Okay.
we have the rematch that it will sell very well and it sell out the place, and then we have Spence. So it's totally different. We have options with the other champion he didn't have. That is a fact.
That is very
So
true.
you cannot compare apple with orange.
But your
He's talking about don't compare apple to oranges. Casual boxing fans, I hope you don't take this any kind of way. But don't let this be, one of those periods of instructions where you want to use this information the way Samson is trying to brainwash the fuck out of you. Don't let him do that to you. This man is extremely biased. He's not even recognizing achievements except from his own fighter. And when that happens, that is called extreme prejudice. All he's doing is recognizing a fighter who finally became unified champion and world champion. And he's trying to act like Crawford, who has done it already, been there, done that, got the t-shirt. He's not. His style is not a likable style. He don't have the personality. He talk about the best fight card in the last 10 years, but let's not bring in the belts. Let's just talk about performances. But then when it comes to performances, he won't even mention Crawford Spence. And then, look, on top of that, he turns around and say the same thing. He say, that won't happen. He want more than the champion. That won't happen. We have options. So you know this is going to come back and bite you. Because your fighter just got off the canvas, bro. He got knocked out bad. This is going to come back and bite you. The way you acting right now, talking about the champion has options and all that, this will come back and revisit you, Samson. I guarantee it. This is going to come back on you. Watch what I tell you. This is going to come back. People are going to remind you when you're in a different spot next time of what you saying up here talking about how somebody's a multi-division champion, multi-time lineal champion, multi-time undisputed champion. He has all the pages to write the chapters, and you're saying, oh, he will not get more than the champion. No. You're just being stubborn, man. You're just being stubborn, that's all.
options
I think we're comparing red apples and green apples, if I'm being honest.
but Samson, your options do include alternative fights, meaning Fundora does have the option, but he would have to vacate the WBO. Unless, again, Louis could come up with a clever scenario.
Let me put it this way. The smartest man in boxing is Louis the Killer Jr. I can tell you that much.
Okay, you can tell her that much. The smartest man in boxing is Louis de Coba. That's what it is. So he's banking on Louis, the smartest man in boxing, to come up and derive a plan. You know what I'm saying? to come up with a plan to pretty much get Crawford out of the picture. They want Louis to be a painter. They want him to find the right texture paint and the canvas to make Crawford disappear. You know what I'm saying? From this space. And I'm not gonna hope anything with Crawford. Like I said before, I'm confident that him and his team will negotiate accordingly. This guy up here talking about, oh, the smartest man in boxing, Louis de Cuba, smartest man in boxing. Did he have anything to do with helping Mendoza get off the canvas? I mean, helping Fundora get off the canvas? Did he have anything to do with that? I'm just saying, y'all seem desperate at the end of the day. I'm mad that he's doing it. He's accomplished more than your fighter, and you're mad because he's doing the same thing you're doing for Fundora. He's negotiating his worth, but yet you're over negotiating Fundora's worth because he just beat the titleist. And let's not act like Tim Tszyu was a unified champion at 154. Let's not act like he wasn't elevated himself. So just because he got cut on the top of the head and it was a bloodbath, you want to act like that's one of the best fights you've ever seen in the last 10 years. Stop smoking that stuff.
Because it's cool, it's a thinking, you know what I mean? It will come up with a solution. Definitely, Fundora doesn't want to lose the title. And he willing to fight Crawford, but
Did you get a phone call?
50.
Okay.
Yeah, I checked the night. If it was 50-50, so maybe it could happen. But knowing the situation, I don't believe that it would happen because the ego of Crawford, he want to have more. And on top of that,
the ego of Crawford, he wants more. It's an ego thing now, right? Like I'm not trying to understand less than what my knowledge, level of knowledge allows me to have, right? So if I'm retrieving information, right, from the catalog, and I'm saying to myself, so you're saying it's an ego that Crawford has in trying to measure his worth in negotiation. It's an ego. It has nothing to do with business. You know what I'm saying? Being business savvy. It doesn't have anything to do with business. You think Crawford didn't learn anything for leaving Top Rank and trying to negotiate with Al Haymon the first time? You don't think it's commendable that he is without a promoter and he's trying to close this out and make these fights with his team without being signed to anybody? But yet Sampson's over here trying to play the blacklist game. He's trying to play the blacklist. That's all. He's trying to say, oh, he don't have anything. Did Cambosis, Lou DiBella, did they have a network or did they have to go to Bob Arum Top Rank? Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. So it's not like he's the only fighter that was out here, you know what I'm saying, that needed to sign somewhere, but wasn't afraid to be independent. You're acting like this man has an ego for doing business. No, it's called understanding that a closed mouth don't get fed. So in this particular scenario, what better time to make moves for Crawford than now? He's 36 going on 37 in September. Well, guess what? What's a better time? You have a highlight reel, top tier, memorable fight that's going down in the boxing annals, and you be the top pound for pound fighter on the list, which Fundora hasn't. And Sampson's up here just been overlooking, throwing dirt on that the entire freaking time he's been talking about this. He's been throwing dirt the entire time. Look at this now. He's mad because Crawford is attempting to do good business. He's trying to advocate and do good business for himself. He's trying to do what is honorable, the honorable way to do business based off your accolades and achievement. He's going off what he believes he's worth and more. It's okay when other fighters do it, but it's a problem when Crawford do it. It's not a problem. It's that they don't want to acknowledge it. They have this stigma when it comes to Crawford that what other fighters have done, if he attempts to do it with the accolades that he has, it's a problem. And Sampson is calling this an ego. If that's the case, everybody who attempts to make more money in life has an ego. This man wants more than 50% because he's accomplished more. He's a current unified welterweight champion. Your fighter just got off the canvas and was able to get a gift and win the titles. He didn't go and do it cleanly as Crawford did. Man, that's crazy. I can go on and on about this.
You're right. When he say that how much he sold the 3 gates and that, so it can be 80-20, 75-25. It wouldn't happen. It would never happen.
He keep talking about what would never happen. What would never happen? What do you think your fight is going to become? It's already been a undisputed champion at 154. What, you going to try to keep Fundora there to unify the division? Being that Spence and Crawford is going to be there, you think the pathway is going to be that clear, headlights on the high beam zone, and you think you're going to have a clear shot to the titles without having to revisit because you got 2 of them? You coming off that title, bro. You coming off that title. Sampson up here running reckless, loose lips and all, just talking crazy, and you thinking Team Crawford ain't out here in these streets listening and transmitting information? You think just because Louis de Cuba, he's the smartest guy in boxing, he's going to get it done. But you're over here talking reckless, man. You have a lavish sense of just putting out information and none of it's positive. What has he said positive about Crawford? If you don't have no positive shit to say about him, obviously there's an underlying issue that you have. His style, no likable. His style, no likable. He hasn't sold no tickets. He don't sell. No likable. So Crawford has no likable style. He don't sell tickets, y'all. He don't sell tickets. And everything he's been able to accomplish, it doesn't matter because he's trying to be like Canelo. He's trying to negotiate his worth, but yet he said he's trying to be like Canelo. So for one, he's trying to be like Canelo. And the fact that he is trying to negotiate higher than the champion, Fundora, he says it's an ego issue. First, before he's trying to be like Canelo and negotiate his fights, and now it's an ego. I ask you this, Sampson, which one is it? Is it ego or him trying to do business? He's trying to do smart, effective business. What gives him the violation that he's not supposed to maximize his negotiation prowess? What gives him the violation?
Now, what does Freddie?
Because I will not allow to say to Fundora you'll be making 25% and 75% for the challenger. Doesn't happen. That
So
I can tell you, it will
what
never
does
happen.
Spence get as a challenger who's coming off the loss?
They would probably do 50-50, right?
50-50, correct.
Because he's offering him the 2 belts.
Come on,
That's
Spence. We
correct.
got to do better, man.
I mean,
Danny said we got to do better. Check out. You know, this was an accommodating moment right here. Danny laughed because he said, Sampson, we got to do better. Because Sampson said Spence, who just returned from the Canvas University, just like Fundora did multiple times in his last fight, He said he's going to get 50-50. But the fighter who put the fighter who put Spence in the orientation for the Canvas University, he's supposed to get the same as Spence? Is that how we doing it? So you willing to give Spence 50-50, or you unwilling to negotiate and do smart business, knowing that Sebastian Fundora rates less than 50% when it comes to the percentages at the split of the fighters, because he has accomplished less. But yet he's going to come over the top and tell me that Fundora is the champion and he has options. That's what he's going to say. He has options. So how do fighters get options there, Samson? Okay, the championship belts, right? Oh, that's funny, because earlier you said when we talk about this the best fight of the last 10 years, you say not championships. So you just want to talk about what? The blood? Because championships didn't matter before. We just talking about competitiveness. So if you want to talk about competitive, that's where Crawford comes in with the crown, because he has 11 straight stoppages. Yeah, that's what I thought.
I mean, but Danny says you got to do better. I don't understand. What don't you like about the 50-50?
Because Bud, if I don't see how Spence is value. It has a higher value than
he doesn't. He's saying that Bud. I mean, that Earl would be willing to take 50 and not be the A side. He's saying Crawford ain't gonna want to do 50.
Earl's already let that be known that he'd be willing to get the same thing Fundora's getting.
Obviously, it's 50-50 split. I mean, all he bringing is the fan base. You want the belts. Fundora bringing that.
Nah, I hear you, but both guys bring a fan base. Like, both guys are known.
But one's is a little more proven. That's just the bottom line. Earl's is, we talking Earl doing 40,000 a couple times. But Samson, shift.
I'm gonna have to conclude that stanza of the live stream, because Errol Spence accepts the 50-50 because he's happy to be there. If you get my drift, he's happy to be there. He lost the biggest fight of his career, so of course he's happy to be there, y'all. He's happy to be there and accept 50-50. He has no other choice. But Crawford has options, just like Fundora. Crawford has options based off what his catalog has. You know what I'm saying? So he has options to negotiate too. You can't shut the man options down, and he has more achievements and a bigger portfolio and a more respectable body of work than your fighter. He's been where your fighter's at. You finally picked up 2 titles at one time. Kudos to you. Kudos to you for being unified. But you knew well ahead of time it came with the manual. And within that manual, it was giving you the understanding that there's a fighter that's activating their clause per that sanctioning body that allows it to happen, the WBO, and that fighter name is Terrence Bud Crawford. You knew that heading into there. You knew that. So since you knew that, now you got the belts that you didn't think probably you would win, because it was a split decision. Let's think about that. Now you want to talk about verbal. It was a verbal freaking agreement for a rematch. And then if not that, we'll fight Spence or whatever. But Fundora is going to get surgery and be out to November. Why don't y'all put him on the clock like you do Crawford? Please do. Put him on the stopwatch real quick. This man is going to be back in 8 months, man. He's going to be back in 8 months. 8 months. And he want to hold on to both of the titles because he has options. You're right. He has an option. And I'm really hoping that we hear some good news at the end of this week that the WBO is stripping Fundora of that freaking title because they don't want to do a negotiation. I hope for sure that it turns out the way it's supposed to. I'm going to be patient. That's all. I'm going to be patient. You know what I'm saying? And all of this. And we're going to see how it plays out, because Samson was on some absolute and utter total bullshit today. I don't know what the hell he talking about. Championships don't matter unless it's his fighter, y'all. And fighter, he's up here bragging, and he's bragging and everything about his fighter winning the fight. And it's all about, you know what I'm saying, options because they have 2 belts. But he want to talk about the fight being the best in the last 10 years. absent of the championships. So if you take away the championships, what brings that fight as special as it was? The blood? The blood bring it? That's the blood gives you all that for the last 10 years. That was the best fight card. Take away the championships. Come on, you had Roland Romero and Isaac Cruz as a co-main. Isaac is making his freaking super lightweight debut. How many times Rolly defended that belt? 0. Until he stepped in there with freaking Isaac Cruz. Get out of here, bro. Get out of here, man. What the hell you talking about? What the hell you talking about? Your fighter hasn't proven anything. He hasn't defended the titles or nothing. Crawford has defended his title several times already. And he's became 2-time undisputed. And you're saying that the man is trying to be like Canelo. That's an insult, bro. That's damn near borderline racist, man. Seriously. When you're trying to take another person's achievements and say he's trying to be like somebody else. And just because he's trying to... Look, we're not talking about anything that's unethical, right? We're talking about something that's business, because boxing is a business, Samson. You as a promoter is proven how slimy the game is, because you don't want to recognize Crawford conducting business. You want to shit on it and say he's trying to be like another man, and it's something that's going against the code of ethics. That's bullshit. How else is he supposed to freaking make a living if he don't negotiate his worth? He has to learn around the way. You want to keep him dumb and stupid so he can go in here and say, oh, I'll take 30%. Sebastian Fundora can take 70. For real? Oh, you're great. He will have nothing but good graces to say about Crawford. Crawford's taking 30%. Fundora's taking 70. He not smart. He not smart, but okay. I never would have did that. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So this cat up here talking about he's emulating and trying to do what Canelo's doing like it's a bad thing. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a total bad thing right there. Trying to basically condition the listeners to pretend like Crawford is trying to clout chase or trying his best to be like another fighter, not stylistically, but the way he's conducting business. And it's not a bad thing because Canelo gets paid. Anybody and everybody who knows when Canelo is negotiating a fight, knowing he's getting his money. It's okay when Canelo do it, but it's definitely a problem when Terrence Crawford attempts to do it. We're talking about a fighter who was accused, and they had a torchlit parade protesting that he was bad for business. He was moving funny and all that. So when he's conducting business now, you get this idiot that's over here talking about where he's trying to be like Canelo. But when it comes to Floyd Mayweather, who Canelo is absolutely trying to be like when it comes to negotiation. Oh, man, Floyd Mayweather is one of the smartest, most genius businessmen in boxing. He did it. So if one person is able to be a genius, and we know him for all the money he's earned in the sport of boxing, why are you limiting someone else to be able to get to that point to do the same? How can you do that? That's not even logical that you would prevent. That's just like back in the day for slavery, them not wanting, blacks to read. You're sitting up here thinking that reading is a bad thing and you want to punish somebody for reading. So you want to prevent them from being smarter than what they actually are. You want them to stay and remain illiterate. Once you find out their literacy is advancing, then you want to say, well, Crawford, he's trying to be like somebody else. Why can't he just be himself? Stay stupid and dumb. I'm saying to myself, what? So you got people that commend Canelo for making millions upon millions all the time, but Crawford gets excoriated by Samson because he's negotiating his worth based off his body of work and his portfolio. I can't make this shit up, y'all. But hey, I got to go watch this game. Y'all been great. Shout out to the hottest chat in the MFing game. And if you choose to freaking donate to the channel. Here's my Cash App right there. Appreciate you. Hope you enjoyed the stream. I'm out. Peace.